The most anticipated tennis tournament of the year kicks off today. Yes, and that does include the U.S. Open. It's Wimbledon 2022. The championships begin at the All England Club in London. This year's tournament will not feature any Russian or Belarusian players, as they were banned in April after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Joining me now, Hall of Fame tennis coach Rick Macci. Rick, so good to see you. I'm a terrible tennis player, but my mother was a competitive amateur for all of my childhood, so I am intensely interested in Wimbledon every year. Who's in and who's out in terms of big names this year?
Well, you know, from Russia, we got Medvedev. He's actually ranked #1 in the world. And Sabalenka, who's 2 in the world on the women's side. So, you know, they're big contenders like Rublev. Azarenka's not playing. So, but it's not even the big names. It's a lot of people playing qualifying, and I actually have a handful of juniors that aren't allowed to play. So no one is really supportive of what came down. Right.
Why are these individual athletes being punished for what Vladimir Putin did?
Well, you know, I think because of obviously where they're from, but it's a little tricky because they're playing for themselves. They're playing for their families. They're not playing for a country. This is not the Davis Cup or the Fed Cup where you're playing for a team. So it really makes no sense why they could not play. It's just very unfortunate. And the problem now, because they're saying it's because of the war, Wimbledon has, in my opinion, has kind of boxed himself in. Right. Or I should say Royal boxed himself in, because what's going to happen next year if this is still going on? So it's just unfortunate, and it's a lose-lose, because not only do the players not get to play, okay, all the points don't even count. So it's almost like an exhibition, which is unfortunate.
I completely agree with you on that. In terms of outside of the ban on players from Belarus and Russia, who isn't playing this tournament because of injuries or something else?
Yeah, you got Osaka, who's one of the best players in the world, Madison Keys. Both those players are very, very strong, especially on grass, because they hit the ball clean, they hit the ball hard, they're aggressive. They would be contenders for the title. You know, obviously Federer's not playing in the event, and on grass, he's definitely the leader in the clubhouse.
What about Andy Murray? Didn't Andy do well recently? I think it was a tournament in Germany in Stuttgart.
Yeah, Dagen, you know what's going on. Definitely, yeah.
So he won, but had an abdominal injury, and he works with coach Ivan Lendl. So is he in or out at this point?
He's in, and listen, on grass in England, he's a contender. You know, the heart of a champion is always there. So these guys on grass, if they've been there, done that, they're dangerous.
Right, and so like the French Open, it's like slow clay, but Wimbledon, of all the surfaces, the grass is the fastest of the surfaces, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a whole different animal. Right. You know, the ball skids, you got to stay low. The footing's different. Foot speed is a premium. That's why I kind of like Coco Gauff. She's like an Olympic sprinter. You know, even though she's young, I think she could maybe take this thing. I really love her movement, but it's a whole different surface, and you only play on it a couple times a year. You know, the warm-up tournaments in Wimbledon. But then again, now you got Serena that's coming back, and with that serve and that Compton street fight, she can beat anybody, anytime, anywhere.
And talk about, so Serena Williams has not played a singles match since last year's tournament. You've worked with both Serena and Venus. What should we watch for? Any sense of what kind of shape Serena is in? You know, and it's not just physical, but it's also mental shape.
Yeah, no, that's the wild card, you know, and on grass, like I said, the movement's tricky. Stopping, starting, your balance, it's a whole different surface. So that would be #1. I'm going to look at her movement. But listen, when you're going to go down as the greatest female player ever to hold a racket, You're just wired different, Dagen. You're wired different. She's not playing to participate. She's playing to win it. And the fact that she hasn't played in a year, if anybody can take that much time off and go in there, if she can win a few rounds, it could be dangerous. Now, all that being said, yeah, I did work with Venus and Serena, and Venus never played a tournament in 3.5 years when she was a kid, made her debut, beat number 57, and almost beat number 1. So at the end of the day, they're so competitive, especially Serena. Nothing would surprise me, and she's ready to roll.
Yep, mentally tough. My mother taught me at a very early age, even though I was a garbage tennis player, about choking and getting out of your own head. That did not come in handy on the court for me, but it certainly comes in handy working in live television. So, Rick, thank you so much. Please come back as the tournament moves on. We'd love to talk to you about, or I'd love to talk to you about what you're seeing and who looks great and who might be in the run-in.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Rick Macci, take care.